Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Neva. This is Reni with Neva, where we talk all things mom life, books, and cozy hobbies. So today is our weekly-ish book and coffee chat video, coffee and book chat video, where we talk about what we've read this week while we enjoy a cup of coffee, water, soda, whatever it is that fancies you. Tea, you know, it is a glass of wine if you're watching at a time when it's 5 p.m. So whatever you choose to drink is up to you. I do have coffee here. I also will caveat this with I am filming this while everyone is home from school. So if you hear things in the background, it just is what it is. This was the time of the day where it worked the best for me to film this week, and unfortunately that means everyone is home. So if you hear things in the background, don't be alarmed. It's just the people that live in my house. So let's talk about what I read this week. So I actually have two books that we're going to talk about this week. One I finished at the very beginning of the week and I talked about briefly in last week's video, and the other one I did finish and I said I would probably get it finished by the end of this week. So the first one we're going to talk about, after I take a little sippy sip of coffee, is the 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. I'm going to say Poston. I think that's how you say it. So Ashley Poston. This is a magical realism rom-com book. Well, I don't know. Is it rom-com? I don't know. It's a love story. Okay. So I really love Ashley Poston. At this point, I've read her entire backlog, so I'm just waiting for her new book to come out. I have given all of her books somewhere between 4 and 6 stars. So I gave A Novel Love Story, I believe, 4 stars. It was my least favorite. And then I gave The Dead Romantics 6. This one is also a 6-star read for me. This is very much like The Lake House, if you've ever seen that movie with Keanu Reeves and Sandra Bullock. So this is about a woman named Clementine. Okay, throughout the book she's called Lemon by the man of the story, but our main female character is Clementine, and she has inherited an apartment after her aunt Annalie has passed away. So this apartment will take you 7 years into the past, and there's always been 2 rules that Aunt Annalie has ever given, and the first one is always take your shoes off, and the second is never fall in love in the apartment, because even though the person in the apartment with you, they are 7 years in the past for them, they could be somewhere in your current timeline. So we are following Clementine, and I don't remember what the man's name is, and I don't think it says on the back of this. Yeah, a strange man is all it says, but we're following them, and he is 7 years in the past whenever she sees him in the apartment, and it's a love story. I gave this 6 stars. It made me laugh, it made me cry. This was part of my reading Ari's favorite books vlog, which will be coming out not favorite books, but Ari picks my books vlog, which comes out very soon. And yeah, I really enjoyed this book. It was really good, top tier, so I can't wait for her next book to be released. All right, and then the second book that I finished this week was Final Offer. I should say that the 7-Year Slip I finished right after filming last week's video, so it was like just in the nick of time. Like, I just didn't have quite enough time to finish it. But then the other book that I finished this week was Final Offer by Lauren Asher. This is the 3rd book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. So this one is following Callahan and Alana. And Callahan, we're just gonna call him Cal. I think in here it's actually written in as Cal. Alana, let's see. Yeah, so on the back of the book it's written in as Callahan and Alana. So Cal is the middle brother, and his task is that he needs to go back to Lake Wisteria, where they grew up in the sun, like where they spent their summers, and he needs to sell the summer home that they grew up in or visiting. The catch to this is that Alana has to be on board with it. So I will say that this is a single mom trope. Alana is a single mother, and so you may not like that. I actually really liked Cammie in this book. I thought she was super cute, and she wasn't written in as like an afterthought. I've noticed that with Lauren Asher, when she writes single parent romances, because Love Unwritten is also a single parent romance, it's a single dad romance, and I feel like the kids are part of the story. Like they are a character, which is what I need with single parent romances. When the kid feels like a menace or an afterthought, it actually really annoys me. So I was really happy with this one. I gave this one 5 stars. So in order of the books that are written, I gave fine, what is it? The fine print? Yeah, the fine print I gave 4.5 stars. Terms and Conditions I gave 6, and this one I gave 5. So this one got 5 instead of 6 simply because I felt like it was a little bit too long. I felt like there were some issues in this book that kind of got drug out for a long time. I also kind of hated the third act breakup. I felt like, especially because Cal would say, just listen to me, and she would say, what's the point? I can't trust you, over and over and over again. So I was kind of like, okay, but why are we even leading him on then if you can't trust him? It just kind of annoyed me. So that is what that was, but I really did enjoy this book. Lauren Asher, for me, is an auto-buy author. I will literally buy anything that she writes. So the only series that I actually have to finish from her, or that I need to read from her at this point, is her Formula One series, which I think is the first series she ever wrote. So I do need to read that. I think the first book is like Throttled or something, but I need to read that. I know those are on KU, so I'm probably going to start those soon. But finishing this means that I also finished a series, so yay for me, because that means that I get $5 at the end of the month for finishing a series. So I'm really proud of myself for that. And it's another series off of my wheel. So final offer, we finished that. So let's go over the 2 books that I will be focusing on this week. They are both on my Kindle. I do have some other books here that I will go over really quick, because I have some, my brother wants me to read some books. I can listen to those audios. And then Ari has picked 2 more books for an Ari Picks My Reads vlog. She's decided that she wants to do one of these. I'm going to try to do them monthly, but my goal is kind of, once I finish one, to start another. She helps me read down my books this way, but let's go over those really quick just so I can show you what they are. So the 2 books that Ari picked for her next Ari Reads My Books vlog, this also helps me not include these in other vlogs, is So This Is Love by Elizabeth Lim. This is a Twisted Tales book, and this is the Cinderella retelling. So it says, what if Cinderella never tried on the glass slipper? So that's what that is. These are all really fun books. I love the Twisted Tales series. I have read, I think, 3 of them at this point, but I'm rereading all of them. So I've read the Rapunzel one. I think it was called What Once Was Mine, and I've also read Reflection, which is the Mulan retelling, but our wonderful friend Piper sent us all of them. So she sent me basically all of the ones that I had on my wish list, which was not the entire series, but it was like 11, I think, out of like 17. So thank you again to Piper, because I think Ari will be picking these until I've read them all. She wants me to read them so I can decide if she can read them. Some of them are a little bit darker than others, but these are just dark retellings meant for a YA audience. But I think that they're so fun, especially if you grew up, for us that grew up in like the 90s, the 80s and the 90s watching Disney movies. These are a super fun like twist on that. So that's the first one that she picked. And then the other one that she picked was The Stars Are Dying by Chloe C. Penaranda. This is a Nightfall novel. This is the first one. I don't know where my dust jacket is for this. Actually, I think I see it. But I'm not sure where my dust jacket is for this at the moment. So, but the naked cover is so pretty as well. I have the first 2 books in this series. I need to get the third one. I don't remember when it releases, but I have the first 2 books in this series, so this is the one that Ari picked. This one is also on Kindle Unlimited if anyone wants to read it that way. I probably will be reading it on Kindle Unlimited just because I want to keep my pretty edged cover like version of this intact, but I will hold this up in videos and stuff like that. So those are the 2 books that Ari has picked for her next Ari Picks My Books vlog installment. And then I have 2 Kindle books that I will be reading. One of them I do have on Audible, or not Audible, but on Libby as an audiobook, so I probably will be focusing mostly on that. But that is I Feed Her to the Beast, and the Beast is Me. That is this book by Jamieson Shea. I believe this is her debut novel. This is a PWI book about a ballerina named Lore, and a PWI is a predominantly white institution, so the ballet school that she goes to is a predominantly white institution. And I am listening to this on audio, but this is for my next episode of Kindle Unlimited Clean Out, which I just had one go up. So yesterday, when you were watching this, it went up the day before. So if you haven't watched that yet, go watch it. But this is for the episode I'm working on right now, where my brother picked 4 books for me to read. So it's a kind of a special episode of this this time. And then I'm also reading, you're not gonna be able to really see it, but I'm also reading Manacled. This is a fan fiction. I do believe that the original fan fiction has been taken off of Archive of Our Own. I downloaded this a few years ago when everyone was talking about it a lot, and when I was really researching into getting back into Harry Potter fan fiction. So this is a Hermione fan fiction. This takes place after the events of the war at Hogwarts. So after book 7, I think. I think there is some crossover between like it's technically like right after, it's after the events of book 5, but also the events of book 7. Basically everyone has died at this point, so all of the good guys have died. Everyone on Harry's side is dead except for Hermione. Hermione is the last one standing of their like core friends. Ginny is dead, Ron is dead, Harry is dead, Tonks and Lupin are dead. Like everyone is dead, okay? It's just Hermione. Hermione has been captured and put by Umbridge, and she's been put into the dungeons of Hogwarts. This has crossover, so this is kind of a dual universe crossover. So we have Harry Potter, but then we also have themes from The Handmaid's Tale, and I really like A Handmaid's Tale. I think that it was a really good book. I watched most of the show, but the show got really heavy really fast, and I had trouble continuing. I think I made it to like season 3 or 4 before I just had to kind of stop for my own mental health. But that is what this is. This is about a 24-hour audiobook. It's like 2,800 pages if like you put it into pages. And yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm only around 50 pages in, which is like 3%. Okay, like I'm not very far into this. I'm on chapter 3, it looks like, and I am really enjoying this book for what it is. The writing is actually really good for a fan fiction. Sometimes fan fiction can be hit or miss for me because it can feel not well written. The formatting is pretty good, but yeah, I'm kind of just eating it up, but I am giving myself time to read it as quickly or as slowly as I want. I am doing an independent vlog on this one as well. And then I have a collection of audiobooks that my brother wants me to read, and that is the Nixia trilogy. I will try to remember to put up like a picture here. Yeah, the Nixia trilogy. I think it's the Nixia triad technically. He's been bothering me to read these since I moved home, so for over a year, and I'm finally going to do it. I have them from Libby, so I will be listening to them as audiobooks. I think we have the physical books here in the house somewhere, but I'm going to just be listening to them as audiobooks because I know that I'll be able to get them done quickly that way. And yeah, I don't know that there will be a separate vlog for that. I might do like a Brayden Chooses My Reads vlog for those books specifically, just because they are books that I wouldn't necessarily be reading if it wasn't for him. But we will see how I feel about doing that. But I will be reading them this month. So or I will be focusing on them for this week. So let's go over the things this week that I'm reading. No, I did reading already. We are listening to, watching, and playing. So I just actually downloaded a whole bunch of new cozy games to my iPad. So if anyone did not know, I do game pretty solely at this point on my iPad Pro. I am going to be getting an iPad mini very, very soon. I know some people had asked if they could somehow help with purchasing an iPad mini, which, I mean, I have Patreon. That's really it. Like, I have Patreon if you want to help financially, but it's no obligation. I am working on getting more content over there, onto Patreon, but I'm working on getting more content over there, and we are currently doing a watch along of the first 10 seasons of Grey's Anatomy. So if you want to come join me for that, that would be so awesome and fun. But I did just download a bunch of games, so I'm going to be testing out some different games in the next like week or so, just to see what my favorite ones are, because I do plan on making a big, like, an ultimate cozy hobby kind of video. People have asked for that, so I'm going to be making it. But my favorite games right now to play on my iPad are Wildflowers, which I also have on my Switch, but Ari has been playing it more on my Switch than I have. The screen is just smaller, and I just prefer to game on my iPad. I do use a controller on my iPad. This is just a pink Pro controller that I bought a few years ago when I bought my Switch, and it works just fine. I've heard that the Xbox controllers or the PlayStation controllers work better on the iPad, so I have thought about getting one of those to see if that is true. I have also been playing Oregon Trail on my iPad. I also have this one on my Switch. A lot of these are crossover games that I also have on my Switch, with the exception of like 2. So I really loved Oregon Trail on my Switch. It was actually one of the first games I bought other than Animal Crossing when I got a Switch, because I was like, oh, this is like a nostalgic game for me. I absolutely, anyway, I absolutely love, right? So that has been what I have been playing on for that. I've also still been playing Good Pizza, Great Pizza, and Good Coffee, Great Coffee. I love both of these games. I will say that the coffee version of the Good Great series is harder than the pizza version. So when I want to just kind of relax to play, I will play the pizza one. And if I'm wanting something that's a little bit more fast-paced, a little bit more finicky, a little bit more challenging, I do Good Pizza, Great Pizza. I've also still been using my Vista Color app. This is my favorite coloring app on the iPad. I know some people use Happy Color. I do have Happy Color. I prefer Vista Color because even though, yes, in order to unlock all pictures, you have to pay a subscription. So you can pay it by the year. I believe it's like $50 a year, or you can pay it by the month. It's about $10 a month. So I pay for Vista Color by the year in order to unlock all photos, but that also unlocks all hints. So if you pay for the subscription, which I do pay for Apple Arcade as well, so Wildflowers and Oregon Trail are both on Apple Arcade. I pay about $60 a year for Apple Arcade, and in my opinion, they have a really wonderful arrangement of games that I can play with or without a controller. And they just have so many really fun arcade games on there. So if you're looking for some, they have everything from like adventure games, board games, life sims, like all of that. So that's what I would suggest if you have access to an iPad. But with Vista Color, even though you do have to pay for it, if you want all of the coloring pages, if you choose to only use the free version, you still get 4 to 6 new coloring pages every single day, including the daily page. So you're really still getting like 5 or 6 new coloring pages every single day, even if you don't fully unlock it. I fully unlocked it just because it makes it so that I never really run out of things. to color, and sometimes I'll go like 2 or 3 days without coloring, and then it kind of builds up my coloring pages for me. Let me think if there are any other games. Oh, and then I also play Airplane Chefs. This is a really fun game. I love this game. This game is by Nord Current. So if you ever played, I don't remember what it was called, but there is another game by Nord Current that is just a regular like restaurant life sim. But this one in particular is you are a flight attendant and you are flying around the world and you are serving food on an airplane. I absolutely love this game. I think that it's so fun. I don't remember what the other game is called. I don't currently have it downloaded to my iPad, but Airplane Chefs I've been playing for a few years and I really just love it. You get a daily reward, usually coins or diamonds, and then you do have the option of like purchasing small packs that have diamonds, coins, and energy. I just love this game. So those are the games that I've really been focusing on, but I am going to be trying out some new games this week just to try them out, just to see how I like them, how I feel about them, all of that. So we will be doing that as well. So let me think, is there anything else playing wise? I don't think so. I think that's all that I've been playing. Listening to, I'm just still in my like breakup song era. I'm just listening to a lot of Taylor Swift, Kelsey Ballerini, things like that. So I've actually made a playlist on Apple Music that is called Songs That Heal Me, and it just has a lot of different songs on it that I find to be healing in this time. Some of them I think wouldn't make really a lot of sense to people as to why they're healing, because some of them are very like tongue-in-cheek, like screw you type songs, but some of them are a little bit more hard-hitting. So that is what I've been listening to, along with, you know, audiobooks and things like that. I've also been listening to the Why She Stayed podcast. I love that podcast. It's really opened my eyes to a situation that I am out of now, but I'm still kind of dealing with the aftermath of it, and it's really just opened my eyes to really reflect and understand what is going on. So, and I understand that the things that are happening or that have happened are not my fault, even though they were made to feel that way. And then as far as watching, I am currently watching the new season of Sister Wives. I'm also watching the Playboy Murders. If you've never watched that show, it stars Holly Madison. Is it Holly Madison? Yes, I believe it's Holly Madison. She does the she's like the producer and the host of that show. Absolutely love that show. It is a true crime show, so if that's not like a thing that you vibe with, it might not be the show for you necessarily, but I absolutely love it. I'm also watching a show called Toxic. Playboy Murders and Toxic are on Max, and we get a new episode every Sunday. And then I'm also watching Polyfamily. Polyfamily is, okay, so Toxic is about toxic relationships and how they can manifest. Some of them result in murder and some of them do not, but it's just a really interesting psychological look at toxic relationships. And then we have Polyfamily. This is a new show as well, and it is exactly what it sounds like. This one is these are all on Max. So most of these that I'm mentioning are on Max. If they're not on Max, I'll tell you. But this one is specifically a TLC show. So Max, like HBO, bought out the Discovery networks. So Playboy Murders and Toxic are both ID Discovery shows, and then Polyfamily is a TLC show, but you can find all of them in the Max app. Polyfamily, we are following a closed polycule of 4 people, and they are both couples. So there's a husband and wife. It's 2 sets of husband and wife, and then the husbands each have a girlfriend within that. I can't remember all their names right now. I'll get that for you for next week. But I'm really loving this. They have 5 children all together. the two oldest children were part of one family before they merged, and then the other 3 children have been born within the time frame of them being a polycule. They are what is considered a closed polycule, so they're not like dating other people outside of themselves, but I'm really loving it. I'm also, of course, still watching 90 Day Fiancé and Sister Wives. We're on new seasons of those. I'm also been watching 90 Day Diaries. This is a 90 Day show that is completely self-shot. They started doing 90 Day Diaries, I think, in 2020, like during the pandemic, and then they just continued it. I really like that show as well because we follow older cast members, or cast members that we don't see as much anymore on that show. And then, of course, Wednesdays I watch Harley Quinn. This is an animated version of Harley Quinn. So those are basically all that I'm watching. I've also been, of course, doing the watch along on Saturdays with my patrons, and we love that. So we've been watching Grey's Anatomy for that. And then I do watch like random documentaries throughout the week as well. Nothing necessarily to like write home about, I guess, but I have been watching some pretty random documentaries. So we love that. So I think that's really all that I have for y'all for this week. This one is going to be a bit longer, closer to like 30 minutes. So let me know if you prefer this style or if you want me just to stick to books from now on. You can let me know down in the comments. Let me know what you have been reading, watching, listening to, playing, cozy hobbying. I am planning on getting back into diamond painting. A goal for me by the end of this week is actually to set up my diamond painting again back downstairs so that I can spend an hour or so a day just down there with headphones in, listening to an audiobook or listening to music or a podcast or something and doing that, because I have actually really missed diamond painting, so I need to get back into that. And it's not a hobby that's gone, okay? I still have all my diamond paintings that I need to work on. I think it's just a hobby that's a little bit harder because it actually takes up some room. So finding somewhere that's not in the way has been hard, but I think I'm just going to set it up back downstairs at the kitchen table in my little corner, and we're going to do that. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know all the things down in the comments below. And as always, there is links to wish lists and Patreon, everything down below. Of course, those things are never necessary, but they are there if you want them. And I will see y'all. Oh, leave me an emoji. What kind of emoji should we leave this week? Leave me like a coffee emoji or like a warm drink, something like that, a cozy emoji down in the comments below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.